On this week's episode, we're going to the famous Lake Fork with my good friend, Cody Malone, Lake Fork Premier Guide Service. We're going to be doing a little sight fishing, a little topwater bass fishing. You guys stay with us. It's an exciting trip.
Seeing things a little different round here. Honey, ain't much changed since you left last year. This town's still dead as it used to be. All Main Street's as broken as your company. I've seen my share of heartache and cheap motels, yeah, they're all the same. Stuck inside of a living hell, honey, you're the one to blame. I'd rather be the cold one and tell you just the way I feel than to come back home and hold you, knowing the road has my heart to steal. You left here pretty high flyer. Yeah, the greener grass made a fool of you. Now you're coming back sorry, well you're a liar. And girl, I'm way past long gone.
Presented by Lonestar Ranch and Outdoors. Closed captioning provided by Ambush Bow Fishing Adventures.
Glad we got a NASCAR driver running the boat today.
I do a little NASCAR driving from time to time.
Hey guys, we're here with Lake Fork Premier Guide Service, my man Cody Malone. We're on the famous Lake Fork. You hear all stories about, Big Bass Lake, best fishing lake in the country. Excited, springtime, bed fishing. Cody, what do we have? What's in store for us today? What's kind of be the game plan? What have you been doing lately? I know that you pretty much fish, 90 straight days out of the year, constant on this lake. What's kind of the game plan? What have they been doing?
They've been coming up on beds really well, and there's a lot of fish up. The problem is finding females. Not only finding females, but finding females that are ready. You'll see a lot of fish today that aren't ready, and I'll kind of go through and show you what I see that makes them ready and not ready. Obviously, one that's locked on won't leave the bed. Right when you drive over it, that fish is ready. But even some of the fish here lately, they'll be doing a lot of swimming around, and it's just because they've been driven over so much. That's the problem with this lake. It gets pressured, and pressured very heavily, so you have to do things a little different here. We're going to start off throwing a couple topwater spooks on top of these pond dams here in this creek. There's probably 9 pond dams in this one creek alone. It's a really good area, and I've been bed fishing in here for probably 3 weeks. And there are lots of fish in here. They're starting to guard fry in here a little bit because the spawn is so far along. But we're going to start off doing that, and then after that we're going to bed fish the rest of the day. We may not make a flip for 2 hours, but when we flip it one, it's going to be a big one.
That's awesome. This is going to be a great educational sight fishing show. Hope we can get on some. I know Cody, he's on it. He's one of the best bed fishing guys that I know of. You've heard me talk about, if you don't know, go out with somebody that knows more than you and learn. Well, that's exactly what we're doing on this episode. I'm wanting to share with you what Cody knows about sight fishing, his experiences that he's had, so that you can go and better yourself the next time you're out on the lake when you see a bedfish. Absolutely insane, the knowledge that this guy has. Spends 180 days a year on the water. When he's not fishing, he's hunting. This guy's a full-time guide. He just knows. He's just smart about the fish, knows whether to take the time on these bedfish, because you experienced bass fishermen know that sometimes it takes a while. You can spend 1, 2, 3 hours on some of these bigger fish before they're ready to bite.
Early in the season like this, typically you got to work it real slow, just barely let it walk.
Yeah.
And of course, as it warms up and summer gets here, then you start, really twitching it good. You doing, sleeping?
Yeah, I was looking down at my reel.
Yeah, when you set the hook, or when he had it as soon as he hit the water.
I saw one roll over there a second ago. I didn't think I thought I cast past it.
I'll be going to sleep on him now.
There's not a lot of guys throwing topwater yet.
Really?
No, it'll happen in about 2 weeks. It'll get real good. We'll just start running points with it. You'll fish, 10 points and catch 5 fish.
When they're up there chasing those big shad and stuff?
Yes, then you'll end up pulling up to the next point, your 11th point, and you'll catch 15 or 16 off 1 point.
Yeah. That's when you catch those giants too.
Post-spawn hungry suckers.
That and when they first pull back out on this deep stuff.
Yep.
I used to love coming up here fishing all them old bridges and stuff.
I got every bridge on this lake waypoint. I love it.
Golly!
Good fish too.
That was a good one.
That was a good one. And right in the back of this little drain, there's probably like a 3-pounder. So they're just waiting on that frog. Oh,
Damn, there he is.
got him.
All right. Smoked it.
You a little mad?
He's a little pissed off.
He choked it. Probably gonna lose it.
No, I ain't gonna lose it. First fish of the morning, finally. Bass 3 totally won, but this is what you call choking the frog. Awesome, man. Beautiful fish. Springtime topwater, Lake Fork. My man Cody. I'm officially ahead of the guide. He's just letting the numbers get up there, and then he's gonna hit the on switch, and they're just gonna start just running right up to his bait.
Have to get a counter to keep up then.
Yeah. Little one. Another little frogfish.
Ribbit, ribbit.
Little male. It doesn't matter the size, they're fun. Especially on the top water. There we go. Got him. Can you catch me another? We go out there because we want to do some sight fishing. I've done it a few times with Hunter. Hunter's a great sight fisherman, but wanted to change it up a little bit and go out to Lake Fork and have the opportunity with Cody. So we do a little topwater fishing that morning. The sun kind of starts to get up, and we make the decision we're going to go start looking for some bed fishing bass. And every day there's new fish, big fish that pull up. Lake Fork is one of the most unique lakes in the country as far as sight fishing goes. You can catch bedfish from March to the middle of June. Nowhere else in the country have I ever heard of that on one single lake. I mean, this lake just has them. You hear of that all the time, but Lake Fork is known for its big fish, and it's just got them, guys. I tell you what, if you want to go catch some giant fish, any cast can be a double-digit bass on Lake Fork. That's the mindset that you have to have going out there. And sure enough, we saw some good fish. Unfortunately, we couldn't get them to bite. They weren't ready. But, you know, that's just the way that it goes.
When you flip it in a bed fish like this, it's pretty spooky. You want to flip beyond the bed. Do not sit in the bed. You sit in the bed, the fish will come up and look on the edge of the bed, look in the bed. Most times, unless the fish is just really active, it'll just turn off and leave. You'll actually lock them up and they'll stop. You want to flip in beyond the bed, and when that fish swims by, you want to reel it to him and pop him. Just hit him. You don't want to hit him in the tail. If you hit him in the tail, a lot of times it'll spook them off real hard. If you can pop him in the front half of their body, it'll spook them, but they'll generally come right back around and spin and come back and look at what hit them. This fish here is a really fresh fish. I watched him pull up yesterday. Probably 5.5 pounder, but it's pretty spooky. This is one of those fish, if you were on a lake where there weren't many beds, they were just coming up, or you just had to have a bigger fish, wanted to learn how to catch a harder fish, this would be a good one. If it was me right now, I'm probably gonna spend another minute on it. If I don't see him and get some action out of him, we'll be moving on. That's the thing about sight fishing, you can't hang up on fish. If you do, you will not be a good sight fisherman and you won't catch very many. I've left a many a 10, 11, 12 pounders because the fish wasn't ready. If it's not ready, there's times you can make them ready if they're pretty wanting to be locked on, but they're still cruising a lot and they're line shy, bait shy. If they're doing any of that stuff, you just, you got to come back and check them later on throughout the day when the sun gets up and the water warms up a little bit. Sometimes that'll lock them on. She may be ready to squirt her eggs right now. If she drops her eggs and you come back, she'll be locked on and she'll really be protecting that spot on the bed. And you just kind of have to look at a lot of fish and you learn which ones you think are ready and which ones aren't. Like right now, I hadn't seen this fish in 2 minutes, at least. Fish is not catchable. Another thing you never want to do is you never want to flip on a fish as it's swimming off, it's spooking off the bed. Never flip to it when it's off the bed that way. You'll spook it and you'll burn it out of the area. These high pressured fish are not like normal fish. You go to Toledo and Rayburn, even those places are quite pressured, but they're not as pressured as Fort. And you can get away with doing some different things catching them, but here you really got to be on your A game to catch the big fish on beds. Another thing you need to take note of, anytime you flip, even if you flip away from it, there's fish. When you flip and the bait hits the water, I take line out, that way it falls straight down. Otherwise you'll land past them and tighten it, engage your reel, and that bait will actually pendulum back to you and you're sitting on the bed now. You want to stare at the spot a little while, just stare right at it and learn where everything is. You got the stump, everybody can see it, but there's 3 or 4 green spots that look like fish. And you'll learn, you'll look at it for a minute or two and all of a sudden you'll see something that looks a little different. That's the fish. And a lot of times these fish will come straight into a bed and sit there and you can't see them unless they move a fin like I just saw. I just saw a little shine, that was her. I'm gonna bring the bait right to her, keeping it on the bottom just like a natural crawfish would. And I'm always jiggling. A crawfish isn't gonna go in a bed and try to steal eggs and not jiggle. It's gonna be moving. That's just like when I reel it out fast, that way she can't get a good look at it. I can see her tail right there left the stump. She just bit it and missed it. That was a rarity. I actually felt that fish bite. It's so deep and cloudy right now, you can't really see her. You just see her move a little bit. I see her again. Most times on these bedfish, they'll either nose down or they'll do what I call a color change. They'll actually roll and you'll see that color change. When you see them nose down or color change, get ready because they're ready to bite. Once you see them color change, the next thing they do is they kick the tail. When they kick that tail and it's basically making a surge downwards, they're eating the bait. You don't want to set the hook right when you see them do that or you'll foul hook fish, especially in a tournament situation. Speed is key. You don't even be messing with your bait or reeling in real slow or anything like that. You want to get in and out, in and out. You got to keep the fish fired up. I always keep my reel hand on the reel, ready to reel at any time. And when they come up and jump, it's amazing how many people can't fight fish. You can see I'm keeping my rod bent nice and even. I'm just letting the fish pull. I'm keeping that rod bent. And I'll, say I'm in a tournament situation by myself, I'm gonna keep her coming, get her coming, and then bring her in. You can see the fish didn't even touch the floor, hooked in the mouth. That's just an average Lake Fork fish. That's our common fish. I mean,
Lots of those.
a guy can catch 25 of these in a day when they're up good.
So I tell you what's awesome. We pull up on this fish, 7, 8, 9 pounder. She's acting like she wants to get on a bed. Really spooky. We come back to her 2 different times, and she's kind of in the same position, really just skittish.
Well, we come back to this big fish that we found earlier this morning, and she's still here, and she's a lot more positioned. She's not spooking off. I did make a flip into the bed. She did spook off just a little bit, nothing like she was doing earlier. For some reason, this water in here has cleaned up a lot, just with 2 hours worth of break. And it wasn't anything we did, it's just naturally cleaned up. There's 4 or 5 fish near her, and I think that might be the reason she's so spooky, for one.
The back roads of this county cross like the
There's lots of times where you've got to put in minutes or hours on bed fishing. Is it something that you want to devote to when you're in a tournament? That's a tough call.
I'm gonna try this swim bait. The fish, I mean, I can take my sunglasses off and see every fin, every line. She's sitting right under the water. But there's a small male and a small female on her bed right now. The small male was there this morning. But this other female, we saw her come up, but it almost looks like the small female is trying to drop eggs on the big fish's bed. There's something not right about the fish, but it's a good fish.
Chasing it.
I got her, get the net. Yep. Shabam, baby! Told you we are gonna do something a little different, and that's what happens when you do something a little different. I told you I could see that belly even with my sunglasses off. That fish there come on a little jackal gear on. And I just actually rolled it by her. The thing with this bait is the fish is only gonna bite the first 2 or 3 flips, otherwise it figures it out. And this fish smoked it. It come up behind it and I jerked it like a jerk bait, and it followed it. I jerked it again, it followed it, and I jerked it farther and stopped it, and she slammed right into it. Jackal gear on, man. I don't throw it often, but when I do, they bite it.
Well, Cody, I mean, I don't know what to say, but thanks. We had a great time today. We got to learn a lot. I learned a lot. I hope you viewers learned as much as I did today. I know that when you go fishing, there's always something new to learn on a lake. Cody fishes this lake every day, and he says that he learns something new every day about what the fish are doing, how they're acting. Caught a few on top waters, caught a few spawning fish, caught a giant chasing a swim bait. Absolutely awesome. Cody, thanks very much, man. I appreciate it.
I appreciate y'all coming out, man. I wish we could have done some more sight fishing and got set up on some of the other bigger fish we saw, but as you can tell, the wind's blowing.
Yeah.
It's nice and sunny now, but it just got sunny, and it wasn't an ideal day to look, so we did some adjusting. Like I said, we caught some this morning on top water, caught some on a buzz bait. Had a lot of blow-ups on a buzz bait. Tried several different colors and different retrieves. For some reason, they just wouldn't eat it. That's fishing. You know, if we caught them every day, it would be called catching, not fishing. But like you said, we got to see one good one get caught on the swim bait. And the key is you learn something. And I think your viewers are going to learn something. And if anybody wants to come out and experience yourself to where you can really learn it firsthand, you can look at my website, lakeforkpremierguideservice.com, or Facebook, same thing there. Also look me up on Facebook, Cody Malone Direct. I answer all the messages daily. And also give me a call on my cell phone, which is 254-722-9031. We'll get you out and have a great day.
Hope you enjoyed it. Thanks, man.
Appreciate you, man.
That was awesome. Had a blast.
I've seen my share of heartache and cheap motels, yeah, they're all the same. Stuck inside of a living hell, honey, you're the one to blame. I'd rather be the cold one, tell you just the way I feel, than to come back home and hold you knowing
Presented by Lonestar Ranch and Outdoors.
Over you. I've seen my share of heartache and cheap.
Closed captioning provided by Ambush Bow Fishing Adventures.
Stuck inside of a